how did I get there? And why am I sitting in this chair now so passionate about what we're doing? I got to go back to 2011, standing on the field where I went to Ricky Williams and I said, Ricky, do you think something's wrong with me? And Ricky Williams looked at me, he said, Brandon, I don't think anything's wrong with you. I just think you say the things that we all want to say, but shouldn't say. Fast forward to after that season, year of the NFL lockout, 2,000 football players displaced. So there was no training. And I was in Waltham, Massachusetts, small town outside of Boston. When I walked onto campus, I did a clinical evaluation, a neurological evaluation, and I was diagnosed with borderline personality disorder. Sat with Dr. Gunderson every day, just trying to figure out who I was and why I thought the way I thought, why I behaved the way I behaved, and what can I do differently moving forward. Every day, McLean Hospital, #2 psychiatric hospital in the world, was my new locker room. The books became my new playbook. Dialectical behavior therapy, self-assessment therapy, cognitive behavior therapy, mentalization therapy was my classroom every single day from 8 to 5. And after that, I would go to Reebok's headquarters because I was a Reebok athlete, then I would train. But it was there on that campus where I first realized that I wasn't born to play football, that football was my platform and not my purpose. It was there where I realized that I want to tell my story to help bridge the gap in the mental health community. 10 years ago, we didn't talk about mental health every single day. And I don't want to sit here and say like we were pioneers in this space, because there were so many people before us for years, 50 years, 100 years, 200 years working on these issues that still plagues us today. But we didn't have professional athletes and entertainers standing up and saying, hey, I deal with depression, I deal with anxiety, I deal with bipolar disorder, I deal with substance abuse issues, and really pushing the conversation forward. So our goal then was to tell our story, just to shed light on it, because I couldn't understand why everyone didn't have access to a McLean hospital. It cost me $35,000 a month to get the help that I needed that ultimately changed my life and saved my family and the people around me. So when I was on campus, I was sitting in self-assessment, and basically self-assessment is a group therapy. We're sitting in the circle. We sit in a circle and we just talk about our day. Nothing really profound about it. You're just talking about feelings and emotions. And one day I'm sitting next to a young lady, and she has bandages on her arms and blood seeping through it. So everybody went around and talked. And when it got to her, she said, last night, I was cutting myself, self-harming myself, to ease the pain. And that was the first time I heard of, anyone self-harming themselves. And then the lady next to her began to share her story. She said, last night I tried to take my life. And then the next lady next to her started talking about, how, she went on a binge the night before and some of the things that she did that she just wasn't proud about. And I looked around, and one was an attorney and an insurance broker, a student. And here I am, this big machismo football player, talking about feelings, emotions, and group therapy. And the thing that really shocked me was when we all got up after that hour, walked into the parking lot, and everybody was going back to their normal lives. And, I just was stuck because there was like 200 cars in the parking lot. And I said, man, we're all about to go back in the streets, like everything is okay. And I said, how many other people are out there suffering in silence? So I just felt this responsibility just to do something, and I didn't know what at the time. And from that moment, just start pounding the pavement, trying to bridge the gap in the mental health community. And like I said, back then it was still taboo. In 2010, 2011, we used to say that where we're at in the cancer community then was where we were at in the mental health community then was where the cancer community was at 20 to 30 years ago, where it was the big C. People thought, like, if you touch me, you can get cancer. We just didn't have enough information. There was too much stigma around cancer. And that's where the mental health community was then. And now it's an everyday conversation. It's not a taboo topic anymore. We're having those discussions, not only at the, in the hall, in the halls of Congress, walking, in the Senate and in our schools, at the dinner table. We're talking about it. Now we just need to change the narrative and how we talk about it.